Start recording. So let's go, for example, in which game? Let's go. For which game would you like us to break down? You pick and choose.
Oh, I don't know.
Whichever one you like, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, then let's do the Timo game because there I
Timo, this one?
felt, I felt a bit lost.
Okay. So let's copy link and let's open only this. Alright, so the way you would like to break down your games is going to be in the following order. You would like to first break down your landing phase. So
Okay.
the one between you and the enemy top laner. Okay. Then afterwards,
Yeah.
you would like to break down the 2v2 between the two of you against those two guys. Right? Because when a fight will happen on top lane and both junglers will be on top side, you would like to know, okay, like the two of us win this way, lose this way, and we need to be careful about this ability, and so on and so forth. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
And right after this is done, then you would like to go for the team fights. I was like, okay, Teamcomps look like this, and those are strengths, and those are weaknesses that both Teamcomps have. And for example, we scale very well, and enemy team, for example, doesn't. So it will be very beneficial, let's say, for us to delay the game and scale up.
Yeah.
Make sense? Okay, so
yeah.
So Fiora against Teemo. Early on, because Teemo has range advantage, you would not really like to be aggressive and go for any kind of trades against him, right? So let me get a notepad as well.
I believe it would be better for Teemo to go grasp against Fiora.
So Teemo in this matchup, he can be quite aggressive. So in this specific matchup, so Fiora versus Teemo, right? We're talking about from your perspective, like what you would like to do, okay?
Yeah.
You would like to preserve your HP. So preserve your HP, right? Level 1 to 3, stay safe. And do not go for trades or last hits that will cost HP.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you preserve your HP between level 1 and 3, when you get to level 3, you'll be able to be more aggressive. And the reason as to why is because the ability that you care the most about from Teemo that will mess you up and the trades, right, is his Q.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you'll be level 3, you'll have both Q, W, and E. You'll be able to counter his Q with your W, which makes the trades much easier. And not only that, his attack speed gets lower, which means he's able to utilize his E much less. And his W, in case he will try to use W, his W will be basically useless because of the big slow that your W has. Right?
Yeah.
So that is very important. Right? Like if you have watched on skill capped videos, for example, they say the first 3 levels dictate the lane, how it's going to go. And that's why, for example, because if you mess up and let's say you lose like 30-40% of your HP and you get level 3, let's say your jungler comes on top side and he tries to gank you, then you cannot really go because you have lost so much HP. And the gank is not really going to be doable for you, or if you do go for it, then you can very likely die.
Yeah.
Make sense? And on matchups like this, it's kind of the same on Yasuo and Yone when I play with them against somebody like Teemo. It's kind of the same with them. So for the next thing, which is the more items you get, the easier it becomes. Because for example, let's say level 3 you try to go for a trade against Teemo, but the trade that your champion would usually go for, let's say, is an extended trade, right? So Yasuo usually would like, or Yone would like to go for an extended trade, correct? But early on, you would not really like to go for extended trades. You would like to go for short burst trades and then fall back. So it's kind of the same with Fiora as well. you would like to utilize the slow and attack speed reduction from her W, right? And right before this runs out, to back away and not give Teemo an opportunity to get back on you and deal damage. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to be kind of the same with Yasuo and Yone, you would, for Yasuo, for example, I would like to use his Q3 knockup and his W to go for the short burst trade and then back away. And for Yone, it will be his Q3, so EQ3 into auto W and then back away immediately because of his blind. Right? And this way, when I trade this way early on, I do not really give him an opportunity to trade back at me. And even if he will, it will not be significant. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Compared to later on, if I go for trades later on, then I will have more DPS. I'll have more DPS, I'll have more damage, right? Which means I can actually stay for those trades afterwards because the amount of damage that I will deal for, let's say, 3.5 to 4 seconds, level 3 compared to level 7 or level 8 is not the same amount of damage.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So the more items you'll get in a matchup like this, or like specifically in this one, let's say, or just in similar ones, the better it becomes for you. The more you can, the longer you can stay for fights or for trades. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So mainly that will be it, and you will always want to make sure, because your W is very, very important in this matchup, and just basically in general for Fiora, to be able to hit it. In this case, you cannot really stun the guy, so you would like to make sure that you hit him for the slow and for the attack speed reduction. And the way to do that will be, because your W is a skill shot and it can be dodged, you would like to cast your W when Teemo goes for an auto attack on you, on a minion, or he goes for the Q on you. Does it make sense? Because when he autos or he goes for the Q, in this particular case, his character is put into an animation, and this animation makes him stand still. So you would like to be looking out for this animation right when it starts, and you see that, okay, he's going for the auto or he's going for the Q. That's when I can go immediately for my W and make sure it hits 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you will be moving and he will not be going for the auto or for the Q, he can quickly use W, get a movement speed boost, and he's out of your W, and then you cannot really go and fight him.
Yeah.
Because if you do, then you will lose, right? So that is very important. Right. So to be able to hit W, make sure to watch out for his auto attack or W animation, right when it goes off the start, because you would like to give him as little time as possible to be able to move out from your W. And the way you would like to also use your W is him to be in the middle of it, right? Not him to be a tiny bit more to the left or to the right, because then it's faster for him to get out of it.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. And the trades that you, like we said, that you usually would like to go for is just a rotation of your abilities. So trades we go for will be rotation of abilities and then backing away, right? Waiting for cooldowns come back to come back, and then look for another chance to fight, right? Another optimal chance, let's say. Optimal chance to fight, right? So not rushing anything.
Yeah.
About those things. And then when level 6 comes around, so level 6, you will have we have to buy Oracle Lens, right? So Oracle Lens for his mushrooms. Okay? So for his his mushrooms. Because it's going to be very, very important. He's most likely going to be trying to bait you when you will try to go for trades and you will try to chase him. He'll very likely try to bait you towards his mushrooms, right? To slow you down and kite you this way.
Yeah.
Right? So Oracle Lens is going to be very, but very, 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 very important. You would also like... Actually, I will put this here. Oops, not this way. Like that. You would also like you like to stay close to the bushes. Right, and this is something else which is very important, which I forgot before, is staying close to bushes when you are melee against range, like in this case, is very important. Because if they want to try and attack you, right, when you are out of vision, they have to walk up to the bush. And when they are walking up to the bush and you can see that, okay, they're coming towards me to fight with me, right? I just immediately back away and I do not really get a chance. So it becomes very awkward for them to play the lane this way. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So the way it will look, I'm not quite sure if we take it quickly. Do I have any videos against somebody ranged? Let me take a look. So Camille, Kali, Jax Nasus. Okay, so this will be a good example against GP. Because GP is like almost a ranged champion with his Q, right? With his Q and his barrels, it becomes very awkward for you to fight with him, right? So take a look how I'm playing it early on. Okay. See, like how I'm always going close to the bush. So even if he gets to kill me, I'm always trying to make sure that I play in and out of my bush. And then if I see that he will try to come towards me or something like that, then it's okay for me because I can immediately start creating a gap and not give him the opportunity to trade with me.
Yeah.
Right, and in a matchup like this or a similar one, you would like to go this shield with second wind, right? And when they will poke you just a tiny bit, like he did with his Q, see, it like makes no difference because take a look. So when he Q'd me, he took away how much of my HP? So 70 of my HP, and see the HP regen that I get. I already got 20 HP back.
Yeah.
Within like 3 seconds, that was. Right? So his Q, instead of like being 70 damage, or his auto being instead of 70, it becomes something like 40 to 30, right? Which is basically nothing. You can afford small
Because
poke
of
like
the
that.
D shield.
Exactly, because of this shield and second wind.
Ah, okay.
Right, second wind as well. Right, and here I do allow him to some extent to poke me like that, because when he pokes me, if you notice, he's inside my wave, so my wave is focusing him, see?
Yeah.
Here again, he goes for the Q, but my wave is focusing, so my wave is trading back at him at the same time. And again, here he did get to hit me with his empowered auto, right? But I get to Q and auto him, plus my wave, see? So at the end, take a look at how much the HP difference we have. See? Like he has 40-11.
Yeah.
We have the same amount of HP basically. I actually had a tiny bit more
Yeah.
than him
And
at the
you
end.
generate faster.
Exactly. So take a look. At the end of the trade, 4-11. See? So maybe it's a bit small, but maybe you... There we go. See?
Yeah, no, I see it.
And look at my HP. I have more HP than him, and he was able to pull off 2 Qs without me being able to attack back.
Yeah.
Right? So from the side, it might look okay, like I'm trolling, I'm doing this, right? But when you actually think about it in a deeper level, like I'm explaining to you right now, you see how it works. Right? And even though he got a level up, he has only like 30 HP more than me.
Do we care about the graph stacks that he get from it? Not really, because it's like...
It's nothing that big. You shouldn't really think about it. You
Okay.
think about it like something very big, right? It's still something, but it's not.
Yeah,
But it's
okay.
not something to like super worry about and think about that much.
Okay.
And when I start pushing towards him, take a look. I'm always close to the bushes, right? Because this way it becomes difficult for him to be able to trade. It's just a really good habit to have.
Yeah.
Right? So it will be the same against the ranged matchups. Okay.
Yeah.
So this, you would like to stay close to bushes and be in, and oops, out of that. Right, so level 6, we have to be careful about the shrooms, and preferably you would also like to keep the wave close to us, and make sure that we do not give a chance for him to run us down. Because what will happen against a Timo, right? Imagine, so you'll have the wave close to you. So let's say top lane. So you can have only top lane. I would like something like this, but for top. Is there anything like that? Should be. This is decent, but okay, this is perfect. There we go. Give me a second. So, you were from which side this game? I think your right side, right? Oh, blue side. Actually, blue side. So in this case, you are from blue side. You have liked to keep the wave close to this place, right? Give or take.
Yeah.
Because then when Timo will try to come close to you to try and poke you down, then you can immediately back away, right? First that. Second is he's very gankable, right?
And
so you can collapse on him with your jungler. If he makes a mistake from here, take a look how much space you got to chase him, right?
Yeah.
And especially at level 6, when you will have your ultimate as well, and you get to hit your W, you will get movement speed, not only from ultimate, but from your passive as well, from your vitals, right? And you will get to slow him. So he will be slowed, and you will have two sources of movement speed, plus extra damage, which is going to be true damage. Does it make sense? So can you see right now how easy it's going to be when you get to just hit your W, deny his blind, and then pop your ultimate plus vital, plus passive, and just chase him from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Right? And you just also keep yourself very safe from ganks. The only gank that you would like to worry about is, let's say, from here potentially, like in case somebody will come like this and they will stay in the bush, and they'll be waiting for you to try and bait you out. So the way you can ward without coming like that is over here. I can show you the ward a tiny bit later on. So from here you can place a ward which goes inside this bush. Okay? Not quite sure if you do know about this one. So this will be the one way to gank you, and the other one is going to be simply through the lane. Right? So if you will have a chance, when you know that, okay, I'm gonna be looking for the spheres over here, you would preferably like to place a ward in this bush in the middle one. So you can see the enemy jungler in case he will try to come and gank you, you can see him in prior. Because if he stays in this bush over here, right, but you ward in this one, then it's not really that okay for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I believe like lane ganks are super uncommon in this elo, but it's still a good habit.
Yes, it's just a good habit for you to build up, right? Because when you go up to higher elo, and this will be happening a little bit more frequently, and people will not really expect you to be placing those wards. For you, it will be so easy because you have built up this habit from a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right. So this will be very important. Like, just building good habits, even though it's not going to be that useful in the silo, it's going to be later on. Right? There is nothing bad about just building good habits from early on.
Yeah.
But there are good habits and bad habits. So when you place this ward over here in this bush, you'll be able to see first of all him much earlier coming to the lane, and even if you will go inside this bush, you will still be able to know that, okay, like this guy is inside this bush, so I have to be careful. Make sense?
Yeah.
So in matchups like this, like freezing is very useful too. Once you get to play a matchup like that, a similar one, you will see how nice it's going to be. And for the laning phase, that's mostly going to be. right? So the one against you and Timo. Now, when we go about a 2v2 between you and your jungler, so you and Mastery against Warwick and Timo, the way that you and Mastery would like to play it, so Mastery will preferably like to dodge either Warwick Fear or Timo Q with his Q, right? And you to like preferably block the Fear from Warwick so you can stun either him or Timo. Or if that won't really be possible because Warwick used his Fear away from you and only Timo Q is left, then to block Timo Q, right? Because if Timo Q gets to hit you, then your damage will be very delayed, which is not good.
But Warwick can choose then whether he reactivates his E, right? I mean, I don't know the exact time.
Yeah, he can choose if he wants to use it a tiny bit earlier than usual, than the whole duration of it.
Yeah.
Right, so that usually he will be going for a Fear to pop it immediately, right, when he's able to do so, if both of you are going to be on top of him. But the majority of Warwick players actually keep it for the full duration because it gives damage reduction.
Yeah.
Right? So that will have to be predicted about Warwick Fear, which is his W if I'm not mistaken. But Timo Q, you can see his Q flying towards you, right?
It's his E, but I think I mean, if I have to predict his E, maybe it's better to just W Timo's Q because I know that. Or do you think because of the stun, it's better to try to predict E because it's like gives more?
You could do that. Yep, you could do that, but you can also like start spotting patterns on players. Like if you see them fighting over and over again, and they just let it go to full duration or pop it immediately the majority of the time. That's how you can predict it as well to some extent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, right. And do we like the 2 versus 2, or should we avoid it? I believe maybe we don't really like it in the early games because
so you and Mastery have more DPS than Warwick and how's it called, and Timo.
Okay.
Does it make sense as to how? Especially you with your W, like even if you do not get to stun someone, like you get to reduce your attack speed immediately, so they become giga useless for like 2 seconds.
Because do we also win 3-6?
Sorry?
Because Mastery is really reliant. Do we also win without? I mean, before level 6?
Yes.
2 versus 2?
Yes. So before level 6, it's still going to be very doable because you got a burst amount of damage, right? So with your, let's say you engage with Q, with Q auto, then immediately E to reset the auto, right? Then you go for another E or W plus auto, but plus E, which is going to be, so this is going to be E1 and this is going to be E2. It's like either E into, so like either E2 into W, right? Or either W into E2. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So actually we can do it like that. So it's either going to look like that. So you'll immediately get to burst them like that, okay? Which is going to be a decent amount of damage. This is going to be like 300 or so, right?
Yeah.
And your W then is going to reduce your attack speed dramatically. Like they will be able to their attack speed will be 1 auto attack every how much? It's going to be almost like every 3 seconds.
Every 4 seconds.
Yeah, every 3 to 4 seconds, right? Which is very big. So you got this burst. Mastery in this case has Hella Blades and also his Q, which is very nice.
Right.
And also his W, so like once Warwick Fear is going to be down, he can simply W and tank tons of damage, which is going to delay the fight for his Q as well to come back from cooldown, right? And in this case, because Timo is ranged and Warwick is melee, you'll usually like to go for Warwick because he's melee, right? You don't like to chase the Timo who can kite you, both you and Mastery. But if a mistake is going to occur, then you guys go for whoever is the closest, and whoever your teammate goes as well. Because let's say
Yeah.
Warwick is going to be the priority target, but Mastery will try to go for Timo, then you would like to go with Mastery because it would be better to go for two people onto one than going for the right person, but your teammate going for the other one, so it becomes a split it 1v1, which is not what you would preferably like to look for, right? So this is adaptability, which we were talking about yesterday as well. Right, so on the 2v2, so Fiora plus Master versus Timo plus Warwick, right? Like what you would like to do, like this is your ideal way to trade, okay? For Master, it's simply auto attacks, right? So auto attacks, plus Q, right? And then W to delay fight and tank damage. And for them, so Timo will just preferably like to either blind you or mastery, preferably mastery in this case because she's relying on auto attacks much more than you, right?
Yeah.
So Timo Q blind E probably, right? And also kite. Oops. And also kite / keep distance. And Warwick, the way he would like to fight is preferably look for 2+ man fear, right? Because since his fear is AoE, he would like to utilize it in the best way possible, and the best way possible is to fear as many people as possible at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And also use Q to reposition, right? And potentially avoid CC, right? Because his Q ignores CC. Like knockups or stuns or something like that. Yeah, it ignores it for during the animation. If let's say he's going to get gold carded by TF, right? For the first second, which is going to be the casting animation of his Q, it's not going to count. But if the stun is going to be 2 seconds right after his Q is over, then there's going to be like a 1 second stun, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So there is something like that to keep in mind. But for knockups, it don't really matter. But for you, it doesn't really matter, right? So this is the way that both sides will preferably like to fight. And like we said, the two of you.
Yeah.
So the two of you would like to focus one guy at the same time, preferably Warwick, right? And for them, it's Warwick goes on who he can, right? So whoever is closer. So whoever is closer, and Timo is supposed to kite and keep distance, right? Because for Timo, because his range, it doesn't make any sense for him to go melee, because it's like playing a sniper rifle on CS:GO or maybe Call of Duty, right? But going very close, like you're playing a pistol, which doesn't make sense, right? It's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Right, so this is how the 2v2 world would look like, right? Like this is what you guys would like to look for, and also for the fight, and this is for them as well. Okay. And now when it comes about team fights, so it's the following way. So you guys have quite nice engage from Leona. So so our team. We have very nice, so like Leona very nice engage that we can follow up on, and also Ali charm. So this is how we can simply make picks in the team fights, right? So you will preferably not like to engage or mastery or Draven, you guys would like Leona or Ari to start the fight out. So either Leona with her EQ ultimate or just one of those abilities first, right? Or simply with Ari charm. Okay, so once one of those abilities hit, so Leona Q, E, or ultimate, right? One of those abilities hit, and you guys immediately have to go in and follow up, just like right in time, or Ari charm.
Yeah.
Right, has to hit, and that's when you guys go in. Now then, what you have to be careful from their side as well. The way that they're looking to engage, preferably, or simply play the fights, is so. Let
Diana,
me
right?
go. Yes. So enemy team. Preferably.
And they also have a bit of disengage with Senna, right?
Yes. So either Diana E plus Q plus ultimate, or just E plus ultimate. Right? And then from Senna, they can be looking for the following things, which are going to be Senna Q simply. Or it was some other ability. I don't exactly remember. It's simply her root thingy, right? Which hits you, and after like a second and a half, you root it. Right? So like that ability.
Yeah.
Either they want to play that way, so they can make an engage, or the other way would be simply Senna. Actually, Warwick as well, we have to put here. So Warwick go with ultimate, interfere, right? To catch somebody with his ultimate, and then immediately after that to go for the fear. Because when he will ult, let's say one of you guys will most likely go on him, right?
Yeah.
And when that happens, he will immediately prefer to put his fear on so he can get reduced damage. And then if multiple people are going to be close to him, then you will get feared, right? So this is how they are usually looking to play the fights when it comes about the engage. But otherwise, when it comes about poke, because they have 1, 2, 3 range champions, right? And they can be looking for poke. Is Timo with mushrooms.
So actually have like a longer range than our Raven does not have that much range, right?
Yeah, so with Q, W, and Alt, and he can also reposition with E, right?
Yeah.
And also on Ezreal, his E is very important because with his E, he's able to disengage or dodge CC abilities, right? So if you guys see that his E is going to be on cooldown, he's supposed to be a very, very high priority target for all of you. Because this guy has no dashes. This guy has no dashes, expect his ultimate, but using his ultimate to disengage from CC is going to be kind of troll for him, right? Diana can jump only on enemy, on your minions or camps, and if she goes on your minions, then it's most likely going to be very troll because she will get very close to all of you, right? Being close to camps is not going to be that likely. And then Senna doesn't really have any kind of like dash or anything like that. She gets some movement speed, just like Timo does, but that's it. It's nothing that will immediately dodge the CC. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So he's going to be very, but very important on Ezreal. So Timo shrooms, and then Senna with her poke as well, right? So Senna poke with her Q, if I'm mistaken, it was just some other ability. Let me see quickly.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
Senna
the root thing.
Oh, not Art or Senna. So was it Q? Okay, this is abilities, basic attacks. Here's this passive. I think this is passive. Yeah, so this is Q, this is W, E, and ultimate. Yeah, so it's her Q. W is the thing that we're talking about the root, right? So like root duration. And then Q is the poke. So Q is going to be the poke. So poke with Q. And long range auto attacks because of passive, right? The more souls she gets,
it stacks.
the more range she gets, right? Exactly. It stacks quite a bit. So like that's what most likely, like mostly you guys have to be careful about when it comes about their poke, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, when it comes about tankiness or frontline, they do not really have any, right? Like it's mostly Warwick, but that's it. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
When you guys get to catch somebody else off guard, so like this guy, maybe Diana, maybe Ezreal or Senna, you guys can kill them very quickly. Compared to
Yeah,
your
but
team,
also we have the tools, right, to lock them down pretty easily.
exactly, right? So in that case, you guys don't really have to be looking out for split pushing that much. What you can do in case Timo is gonna go for split pushing, you can match him, push the wave back to them, right? And when you see that, okay, your teammates are grouping on mid lane and they could be potentially looking for a fight, then you're gonna be making sure to push the wave as fast as possible so it can at least create some pressure. And that's when you make the rotation towards your teammates. So you guys can be looking for the team fights. Because that's what mainly you and your teammates are looking for, right? Like that's where the team comp excels a lot at. Is the team fights.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So that's what I
My
mean
build was
by.
probably pretty troll, right?
Sorry?
So my build probably was pretty troll in this team comp with a high breaker and so
I
on.
mean, it's okay. It's just not really optimal for this particular game
Yeah.
and your team comp,
Yeah, that's what I meant. I
right?
mean, yeah.
Otherwise, like it still works out. It's just not the best thing that you can get in this game,
Yeah, I see.
right? So that's mostly it when it comes about your build. Of course, maybe there are some other options, but we won't really get in that much detail when it comes about that.
Yeah.
Interesting how this guy did the most damage. Ah, this is damage taken. Never mind. Right, so that's how the team fights are really gonna be looking like. And when you make this whole game plan, when you get out of laning phase, you're in a much more clear direction. I was like, okay, what exactly am I supposed to be looking for? Like, what exactly am I supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not gonna be really prepared for the team fights, let's say you'll have like an item and a half, then you'll preferably like to get to 2 to 2.5 items. And that's when you're gonna be much more useful in the team fights, right? The two item power spike that we were talking about in many champions.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Otherwise, like even if your teammates are going to be by themselves, so like 4 against 4 or 5, they're still most likely going to be fine, because the amount of damage that those three have, right, is a lot. Like the burst that they got is so much. And those guys over here are rather squishy.
Yeah.
Oops. So like once Leona is going to make a pick or Ari on one of them, or like even if it's going to be Warwick, like they're just gonna get one-shotted immediately. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So in case them, so maybe if there is going to be a lot of pressure on you, let's say, to go for immediately for a team fight or something like that, like you don't really have to worry about that so much. You just want to make sure that you're going to be prepared for the fight and be in a good spot where you can actually be useful, and then go for it. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you make a game plan. Right? So you go through those things, and to some extent it can look very simple as well, which it is, as long as you're asking yourself the right questions and looking out for certain things.
Yeah.
Right? So that's all of this. Right?